Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, my mother is probably going to die alone, and I'm very happy about it. X won the lottery, I want some. Am I overreacting about my mother-in-law? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My mother is probably going to die alone, and I'm very happy about it. Some backstory: I moved to Texas in 2013 when I was 26 on a whim because my relationship with my mother was toxic beyond belief. Throughout my time there, I had cut off all communication due to her alcoholism, causing a domino effect in other parts of my life. Amy having to call off my wedding because she decided to go into a drunken rage a few nights beforehand. Fast forward to December 23 of 2020, my dad got COVID, spent 9 days in the hospital and ultimately passed away on January 2, 2021. His death caused me to literally sell everything I owned, break my lease on my rental house, quit my beloved job, leave all of my friends to move home to New York to help her. Her alcoholism has gotten so out of control she refuses to work. I'm 65, I've paid my dues, so she depended on me and my younger sister to help her. I knew well where this was going and I knew what the end result was going to be. She wakes up and the first thing she does before she even takes a piss is make herself a vodka soda. Gets so blackout drunk by 11 a.m. she's falling on the tile floor, she shit herself multiple times, she face planted right into 2 TVs, over the course of a year, while trying to get off the couch. I've been home since March 27, 2021 and she's been to detox twice, multiple times, but she never goes through with it. She just sits on the couch and cries about how she lost her husband. Not to discredit her, but 2 daughters lost their dad. Way too early, no warning. It's the same old song and dance. She charged me $600 a month for a glorified closet with a twin-sized mattress on the floor, not even a box spring under it. I swear, Ukrainian refugees had better living conditions than me. She makes my sister do all the cooking because she's so drunk by the time the afternoon rolls around she's usually passed out. Things finally came to a head back in April when I had a few friends over on a Friday night. We had a fire going out back. I'm in my early 30s, so my rager days are long gone. Just literally 4 friends, Pandora playing on my phone, not even a speaker, and some weed. Very low key in my opinion. Well, not low-key enough for her. She stumbles out slurring and screaming that we need to SAFU, turn it down, it's so loud. It was 9 p.m. on a Friday, so I just go numb, start yesing her to death, all the while giving my friends the she's about to morph into a demogorgon. Time to leave, save yourself. I volunteer as tribute. Look. As everyone is gathering their things, she gets in my face and slurs, "You were my worst mistake and I wish you would have died instead of your father." When I tell you it took every ounce of self-control not to just throw her into that fire pit. So I made it my mission to GTFO. I found a rental house that I have to work 2 jobs to afford. I am happy as a clam. I felt bad for leaving my sister. We're only 2 years apart and very, very close. I knew it was just going to take a little time before my sister had enough of her leeching. Lo and behold, I become great friends with my neighbor, who has an apartment available. Guess who's moving in solo November 1st? That's right. My sister. And guess who has to go move to North Carolina because her friend is offering her a room to stay in? That's right. The see you next Tuesday herself. I give it 6 months before her friend gets absolutely fed up with her drunken bullshit. I personally don't really care what happens to her. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have any parents. I hope she does a lonely, miserable death. I know my sister and I will be just fine, even better when she's gone for good. I'm so sorry this was so long. I'm sure there's all kinds of spelling and grammar errors, and I'm sure it seems like I'm rambling. Damn, that felt good to type that all out. And that was just the summarized version. Thank you. Good for you both, OP. Not much of a mother at all. Best of luck to you and your sister. Sounds like you need to go and see. I will work 10 jobs and sell my soul to Satan himself to stay in New York. I certainly will never go south of the Mason-Dixon line, that's for damn sure. Given what you knew of her drinking and other behaviors, I am surprised that you gave up the good life to go live with her. By the way, $600 per month per closet in NYC isn't bad for rent. I can't believe she said she wished you were dead. That's awful. I wish you and your sister all the best and hope that monster rots in the deepest circle of hell. After that long as an alcoholic, you're not talking to a mom anymore, it's just the drink. Just the addiction taking the place of a person you knew. It's awful. And she will die alone, probably cursing her kids and saying it's all their fault. Is there any way you can go back to where you lived and get your job back? If it is an option, I think you should do it as quickly as possible. Keep in touch with your sister, but remove your mother from any way that she can contact you, since you are done with her BS. Maybe, if you can stand your sister, you both get together and help each other out until you both finally find a good situation and move on. That's an egg donor, not remotely close to a mother. I give it a month. I'm so sorry for the loss of your dad, the hell he must have went through with her. Ex won the lottery, I want some. Me and my ex split up approximate 5 years ago. We are on good terms and divorced approximate 4 years ago. We have our children 50/50ths and he has since married. Recently he got a large lotto win in the millions and he is refusing to give me a share. I believe I am entitled to some PF as I am still receiving child support from him and it's unfair that our children don't receive the same comfort of lifestyle when at both homes. The children should be able to have the same comforts at both houses and not feel that dad buys them better gifts and clothes than I can afford. He says it's his money and I ain't getting a cent. How do I convince him he is treating his kids the wrong way? Doesn't qualify for choosy beggar, but holy smokes, it sure does take the entitlement cake for the day. Someone's salty she missed out on a payday. I was wondering how the community responded to the post and if OOP was shamed. Her ex doesn't owe her anything. As long as he keeps providing for his kids, that money is none of her business. He should put money in trust for his kids in case she tries to take him back to court, and tell judge he set his kids up with trusts for when they're older. Money grubbing creep. Open accounts with him and the kid's only mother won't be able to touch it. I would wonder if the poster would feel the same if the position were reversed and they were the one who won the lottery, but I think we all know the answer. Oh no, that'll be her money for her and her kids, not for him and his new family. Kinda reminds me of the post where a lady found out baby daddy got a raise or bonus. She took him back to court to increase his child support. When DNA test was done, the kid was not his. So she lost that dollar and was asking help to convince him to continue to pay. As long as he doesn't owe back support, he owes her nothing. Am I overreacting about my mother-in-law? Hi, I am a 29F and I am pregnant with our first child with our due date fast approaching. My husband is very excited, but his mother is really starting to push boundaries as we get closer to the little one's arrival. A bit of backstory. My husband and I have been married for 2 years, but we started trying for a baby 3 years ago. It was a long journey with infertility. I was at the doctor's nearly every month getting blood work done and doing different hormonal therapies. We suffered 3 miscarriages, including one on our wedding day. As time went by and we weren't successful, my mother-in-law grew more and more impatient and disappointed. She would never badger my husband, but she would badger me about the treatments and why they weren't working. To say the least, it was stressful. It got to the point that the doctor figured our only chance was IVF and my husband and I had to make a decision because we didn't have the funding for such a treatment. So we decided to call it quits and accept that we were most likely going to have a child-free life. When I informed my mother-in-law about our decision, she just stared at me with a look of pure disappointment and wouldn't talk to me. To say that she made me feel like even more of a failure would be an understatement. Then, by happy chance, we feel pregnant completely naturally. Of course, I wanted to keep it a secret for as long as possible due to our past miscarriages, but it was hard to do because I got really sick. I was so sick I went days without food and was still vomiting. When we eventually did tell the family, my mother-in-law was over the moon to say the least. I was 4 months at the time and she started rubbing my belly and insisting that it needs to be a boy because the family needs a boy to carry on the family name. As my pregnancy progressed, my sickness did not go away and my appetite did not return, so to say that I was having a hard time and not enjoying me pregnant would be an understatement. I was barely 6 months though before my mother-in-law started insisting that I will forget all about and be ready to have another one before I knew it. Our first child has yet to arrive and she is already insisting on baby number 2. As my due date started to draw near, my anxiety began to grow as my mother-in-law began to make insane demands. She lives 4 hours away from us, for a good reason, and she started making plans that we are to come visit near the end of September. The baby may only be a 1 week old by then if I go past my due date, so that the family can meet the baby and she can hold and feed the baby as much as she wants while I get some rest. I am not okay with this. First off, it's my baby and I am not comfortable handing them around to a whole bunch of people before they are even 1 month old. Second, I am the only who can feed my baby at the early stages unless my midwife or doctor states that they need to go on formula. Third, I don't want to travel and be put on display when I am freshly postpartum. I have talked to my husband extensively about this and he is on the stance of we will wait and see when baby actually arrives and how the birth goes. So because we wouldn't commit to my mother-in-law's plan, she informed my husband that she was going to come and stay with us around the due date. He shut this down real quick because he doesn't want to play host to anyone at that time and neither do I. So now she is very unhappy. I have also told my husband that there will be no video calls while we are in hospital. Everyone will receive the same birth announcement text and they can wait until we are ready for them to visit the baby once we are home. Needless to say, my mother-in-law is not happy with this arrangement and I am terrified that she is just going to show up and expect to be the first to hold the baby when they arrive. Also, she learned the gender when my husband accidentally let it slip that we are having a girl. Well, she was disappointed but immediately started pushing pink at me. I turned her down because I like gender-neutral color and the nursery is woodland animal themed. She told me that we are going to have a major problem with the fact that I don't like pink and I don't want to dress her in the frilly, uncomfortable dresses. My kid is going to be in onsies and sleepers for as long as possible because they are comfy and I don't have to stress about them getting ruined due to the fact that a baby and messes go hand in hand. All of her actions and pushing of her own agenda have made me feel like I really need to keep my guard up around her and my baby. I feel like she is going to try and undermine me at every turn and do what she wants despite what I say. I also have a recurring nightmare of her just taking my baby while I am sleeping under the line of "I was just helping." I have tried making my husband aware of my fears, but he thinks I am being slightly dramatic and that she won't disrespect me as a mother in such a way, but I am really unsure. Am I really overreacting or are my fears justified? I would also let the hospital know that you under no circumstances will accept visits while you are there. They can and will lock down your stuff like Fort Knox, and also a good idea to tell them you have a specific person they need to watch for. I had to do this for both my kids' births. Do this. Your husband has no backbone because of her, and it is up to you to not only give him an ultimatum, but help him get one. He thinks she controls him, and she doesn't. He lives with you. Everything in your house is under your names. She has no power, she realizes this, and is losing her shit. They won't just lock your stuff down like Fort Knox, they're gonna make it harder to break into than Wolverine's skull. Your child, so your rules. Give her a sharp ultimatum that if she does not stop interfering, that she will have no contact with your child. She is playing the MIL entitled card to its fullest Karen potential. I'd even go no contact now as her behavior is causing you unnecessary stress. You are not overreacting at all. Time for a sit down with Hubs to tell him what's what. Tell him what you want, what you expect, what you will and will not tolerate. Advise him that if he does not inform his mother, you will. Ask him who is more important to be happy, his mother or you? You are underreacting. You have a husband problem. Now should be the time he steps up and defends his wife and child, and he's preparing to serve baby up on a platter to keep his awful mother off his own back. That's a disgrace. And postpartum stress will dry up your milk supply, so if you want a nurse, then this needs to be addressed now so you can feel safe and calm for baby. If there's any way you can get couples counseling, I strongly recommend it. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.